Gentlemen of the press, I warmly welcome you to this event. I thank God Almighty for giving me the opportunity to share with you the desires of the ethnic nationalities that occupy the geographical space of Nigeria, popularly known as the Middle Belt region. I'm sure that as journalists, as pressmen, you are fully conversant with the vibrant discussions going on in our country and the cacophony of opinions being expressed. The topics of discussion range from our economy, our governance system, restructuring, the constitution, insecurity, inflation, and others. I'm here today to share with you the position of the ethnic nationalities that occupy the strategic midstream of Nigeria and the steps that they have taken to actualize those desires. On the 30th of June 2024, I convened a meeting for the leaders of several well-organized Middle Belt groups to sample their opinions regarding the well-articulated and publicized thesis of one of our own intellectuals on how Nigeria can best transit from its present unpleasant condition of slow economic growth, insecurity to life and property, chronic unemployment that has resulted in the Japa syndrome, separatist agitations, and many other causes of disenchantment within the polity. A Middle Belt intellectual, an economist, and a retired central banker who is seated right here with us, by name Dr. Jonathan Akuns, brilliantly espoused a simple but legal and convincing thesis to the gathering of the 30th of June 2024 on how Nigeria can best return to genuine Republican federalism. After hearing him, majority of the leaders present agreed to adopt his proposal as their group positions. The leaders of these Middle Belt groups also agreed that the proposal be conveyed to the executive and legislative arms of the Nigerian government in writing. This decision was carried out yesterday, 23rd of July 2024. A draft bill was transmitted to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the leadership of the National Assembly in the presence of the Senate President, Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD. After the 1963 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is reinstated, it will need to be updated to incorporate into it today's contemporary realities. For example, the 4 regions of the 1963 Constitution should be replaced by today's 36 littoral states, which will assume the status and powers of regions. The 36 new regions can then organize for the adjustment of contiguous boundaries their citizens may desire. Likewise, today's reality of the presidential system will replace the 1963 parliamentary system, while the FCT Abuja replaces the 1963 FCT that was in Lagos. The main thrust of the draft bill seeks to revert Nigeria to the 1963 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the following compelling reasons. One, the 1963 Constitution was the first and last constitution duly negotiated by Nigerians Nigerian ethnic nationalities and passed into law by a democratically elected parliament in 1963. It therefore passed the litmus test of having been made by we the people via universal human suffrage, which is one of the fundamental human rights enshrined in the United Nations Human Rights Charter. All constitutions following that one were handed down to us by undemocratic military governments, by the fiat of military decrees. Nigeria has, therefore, been ruled by military decrees since January 1966 to date, and not by written constitutions of our own. Two, the 1963 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recognizes only 2 tiers of government, as against the present one that recognizes 3 tiers, which is an unworkable aberration of federalism. 3, the 1963 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly identifies the then 4 regions as the subnational governments and federating units, and give them adequate powers to write their regional constitutions, own and exploit their natural resources, develop their regions at their pace, secure themselves with regional police, as opposed to today's overstretched single Nigeria police. 4, very rapid economic progress was recorded by all the 4 regions while that constitution was in currency between October 1963 and January 1966. 5, the January 1966 military intervention was not due to any inadequacy in the 1963 Constitution, as some people have alluded, but it was due to the intolerance of each other by the politicians of that time. 6, the beautiful resolutions of the President Goodluck Jonathan's 2014 National Conference have remained unimplemented due to lack of a legal status. Demands for another conference are wrong, because the recommendations of any new conference will suffer the same fate. 7, the National Assembly document, as currently going on in the 10th National Assembly, will still not meet the demands of Nigerians. 8, asking our National Assembly legislators to midwife a completely new constitution will not work, because they all swore to uphold the current one. 9, the federalism, and at the same time,
that constitution lasted for only 2 years, 3 months, and 14 days, to 14th January 1966. Thereafter, the military took over the governance of Nigeria and suspended the constitution and unified the existing federal system of the federal government and 4 federating units. Between January 15, 1966 to date, the country has been running on military decrees from one decree to another. The 2 episodes of 1979 and 1999 are ideally civilian administration, but they were anchored on military decrees, not the constitution that was enacted in 63, which has remained in suspension today. A decree is not a legal document. It's a political process by which military or armed forces professionally manage political power that has been seized by the power of the God. So therefore, we cannot rely on a decree as a basis of a written constitution. The 1999 decree number 24 is the reason why the current civilian administration has been in place from May 1999 to date. But the question is, what we now call the 1999 Constitution is an attachment to that decree number 24 of 1999. Can an attachment supersede the main law that has brought about the process? No. As you can see from practice in governance, there is a great vacuum that we've been running without a written constitution. Any person, any incumbent can take a position and enact any law that advances his incumbency and stability and tenure, security of tenure until the next election. Now, all the chaos we have witnessed in the country and the violence are indeed, in one word, in a summary, evidence of a desire for a structure. The 36 states were all created by military administration. These are simple composite administrative units without any full devolution of power, resource control, and the basic tenets of the federalism as it obtains anywhere in the world. We need local government, but local government should be internal issues of federated units and not part of the federated units of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As it stands today, we have 3 federated units, that's 6 states, plus 774 local government. You are witnesses to the fact that we have never had a meeting of all those units together, jointly. That shows the impracticability of that system of federation, and therefore the need to restructure and bring about federalism as it's obtained elsewhere in the world. You will also observe that the key issues that have been happening around the polity when it is time for election is like war. Yes, political scientists have said politics is war without blood. But war is politics with blood. Agreed. But the key issues still remain: who counts the vote? How are those votes counted? That is the defining line of our polity. Simply because anyone that achieves incumbency reduces governance to a provincial arrangement and ethnic supremacy struggle between ethnic nationalities. So it's important that going forward, we should get ourselves together from a non-foundation, from a non-legal foundation, in order to preserve the stability of the nation. Unlike the ongoing cases of chaos and violence, where it is a matter of survival of the fattest or survival of the fittest. This is taking us nowhere. So it's important we take a look at this and pursue these steps. The middle belt groups have spoken and they have shared their thoughts with the convener. Today, the convener has put these thoughts in the public domain for further interrogation. It's a work in progress. Nothing is perfect, nothing is ideal, but we have demonstrated the need for us as a nation to get together, sit down. The 1963 Constitution is important because it has a clause that takes care of transition. Initially, transition from ethnic nationalities, governance, statecraft, to colonial democracy between 1900 and 30 September 1963. Then it never envisaged the military coming into the equation. But since they came in, we had two clear opportunities for the military to really transit back to Republican democracy, first in 1993. But that was missed, or it was messed up. It became inconclusive. Again in 2024, that was a unique opportunity. But the gap was that whatever was done lacked the basic legal foundation to be implemented. That's the National Conference of 2014. And the outcome from it. So, for that reason, when National Assembly sent out invitation to the public about memo and proposal to amend the 1999 Constitution, I sent in a proposal, not a memo, to say there's a need for a research back to 1963 to have a stable and strong legal foundation to move forward. And it's the basis of this gathering today. I'd like to thank you for your time, thank you for your attention, thank you for coming. A lot of presentation is here, but this is just a summary of the outcome of the meeting convened on 30th June 2024. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless every one of you that is here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, in my speech, I did mention that the middle belt groups also took a decision to communicate in writing their desire for a return to the 1963 Constitution. And I did say that that desire was achieved yesterday. So we'll distribute to the pressmen copies of the letter addressed to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was delivered yesterday to the presidential office, and a copy of the draft bill that was attached to that letter based on what thesis that Jonathan Ahun came up with. We prepared a draft bill to make work easier for him. And we also copied the Senate President and the Speaker of the House, as I mentioned. We are also giving you a copy of that draft bill. So thank you very much. We'll take any questions now. Thank you.
Yes, we'd like to have your questions, your comments. The former is much about feel free if anybody's
Yes, I don't speak for everybody, but this is probably the most detailed presentation I've attended in the world. These documents are extremely clear.
Thank you very much.
I don't speak for everybody, sir. I speak for myself.
Thank you very much to hear that. We did our best to make it. Yeah. And that's why we said, we just thank God. He's an intellectual, he's a middle belter. He came up with this vision and insight on how to transit easily from the present constitution to the 1963 constitution with all the reasons. And they are captured in that draft bill. Sure, one law passed by the National Assembly will do it. No need for national conference, ethnic nationalities meeting, and another constituent assembly. Nigeria has had so many of them. One law that will say decree number 1 of 1966 is hereby repealed. Decree number 34 of 1966 is hereby repealed. Decree number 104, 1979 is hereby repealed. And decree number 24 of 1999 is hereby repealed. The 1999 Constitution is gone. And what will be now suspension lifted if that decree number 1 is repealed? This 1963 Constitution, duly negotiated by Nigeria, will automatically become Nigeria's new constitution. All we need to do after that is bring in current realities. What are they? 36 states 774 local government presidential system, FCT Abuja, and what it all like. And after that, once the states become 36 regions, they can set up boundary adjustment committees. We wouldn't need the whole of the National Assembly to come and mediate. We want the boundary to be adjusted between Benue and Plateau State. Benue and Plateau State people can decide to come together again. And the two states will just meet and agree and give it to their state governors, who are regional governors, and they'll pass it into law. Simple. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very slightly. Most times when people hear revert to 1963 Constitution, the first thing is, are we going back to origin? No. Federating units can be called by any name. You can call them regions, you can call them states, like in the US. US has 50 states. You can call them provinces. You can call them any name. It's a question of name. And secondly, the relevance of 1963 Constitution is indexed to the fact that if ethnic nationalities who gathered in Lagos in July 1963 say we were disaggregating into our previous ethnic boundaries pre-colonialism, there won't be a polity to which any military would plot a coup again. And if you observe carefully, there are 3 other subsidiary decrees that will need to be repealed. But they are subsidiary. Once you deal with these 4, the others will fall. Like the normal proverb that when you cut a tree, the leaf will dry off, you don't need to pick them anymore. Decree of 1984, Decree 1 of 1984, that from the military administration of General Muhammad Buhari, never made mention of Decree 1 of 66 or Decree 34 that unified the politics of 1966. It only addressed the Decree of 1979, Decree 104 of 1979, and 24 of 1979. Then, when Babangida took over, the Decree of 1986 by Babangida administration never addressed the foundation that created military rule. Decree 1 of 66, Decree 34 of 66. It only referred to the immediate past decree. So you can see that all through and through, we've been sitting on a foundation that it is military. Professionally, this degree, they can't go to the Constitution. So these are clear issues that need to be taken from first principle to understand the reasoning behind the need to go back.